And I'm excited, of course, Lori. Hi, Lori. How
Yes,
are you today, too?
very happy to be here today, this morning. Olivia, is such a great sight to see you. Oh my goodness, for you to come back to our show is just such an honor. It's good to see you, Tammy. How are you?
So, like I was telling Olivia before you got on here, I'm tired. So,
Oh, she needs grounding, right,
it's
Olivia?
been a busy week already. It's just like nonstop. And it's because I'm trying to work on so many different projects, more than usual. But also, this is the time of the year to getting my garden prepped, working on my landscape because there's trimming shrubs to trim. But then I had to meet at my client's business place yesterday. They had an emergency meeting asking me to come in. Actually, it was to choose colors. But to them, it was because they had all their painters there and stuff. So it was a crazy day yesterday. So, but I am so excited. I'm here. It's beautiful outside. And I know Olivia said it was beautiful there. How's your weather, Lori?
Oh, my weather is pleasant. It's like starting to get hot. It's in the 80s. But it's just that season of the year. Spring has sprung into almost summer. So,
No,
yeah.
70s here. So, and it's gorgeous. And I plan on going on a walk to do my grounding today. But a lot of you guys don't know Olivia. But before we go there, I want to say be sure to like and share, comment, ask questions. And we're here today to learn about Olivia, how she's gotten started, who she is. And
Yeah, and I want to say hello to KLS and Erin. They're already tuning in and watching live.
awesome.
So we're excited for that.
All right, Olivia, we are going to start with you.
Okay.
So, who you are
So,
and where you're coming from.
okay, I am in Palm Springs, and it's interesting because the last time I was on, I was in Palm Springs. I was just letting you know earlier that I feel like a little gypsy because I'm always here and there, which I enjoy. So I'm coming from Palm Springs. The weather is nice, actually, and I'll be moving out here part-time, and so I'm excited about that. So what I wanted to talk about is before I got into grounding and earthing, I owned my own wellness center for 18 years and I enjoyed that and I grew and I learned a lot of lessons and it was a beautiful experience for me. But one day I looked up and I said, Universe, God, whoever's up there, I said, I need a mentor and a mission. And I met Clint Ober 2 weeks later, and I kind of had was a little burnt out with what I was doing. Well, not kind of, I was. And so I met Clint at a conference where I was selling some products. I sold a lot of products to naturopaths, and I met him at this conference, and he grounded me, and it just literally changed my life. And so after he grounded me, I had him come to my wellness center and ground the wellness center. And we did chelation, and my clients that had chelation done were all grounded. And it just, I could see the transformation that was happening with these people. But before I had gone to this conference too, I was looking for something for women because I felt like I was doing so many different treatments and we had so much going on, but there wasn't anything actually making a difference. And because people kept coming back, coming back. And so then that's when grounding came into my life and I sold everything. Just
So I have a quick question. What made you get started in your wellness center? What led you to that?
well, I first started with a spa. I had a building built and I started with a spa and I enjoyed that. I had massage, facials, hair, hat, nails, all of it. And then I knew it was time to expand. And I knew if I added a wellness center that that would bring more clientele and it would feed the other side. And so I needed a naturopath. I needed an MD. And so kind of asked for it and it came. Like 2 days later, he arrived. So got everything lined up and got into, I was always very interested in holistic type healing.
So
And
even like even when you were in high school as youth, what were you into?
just yeah, just I had one of those big books. I can't remember what it was called, but you could look to find out what was wrong with you.
Oh, we had one of those too, and my daughter loved it.
Yes, I loved it. And so I was looking it up and looking at herbs and all of this stuff. And so I needed an MD and I got a holistic doctor, a naturopath, and I had a nurse on staff. And we did weight loss, we did bioidentical hormones, we did chelations, the IVs, we did all of it. And it just was interesting to me. And I used a lot of Dr. Amen's practice in it. And so I just found it interesting. And so, and then also I realized this would feed the other side of the spa. And it did. And it fed they both fed each other. And so, I would go to these wellness conferences and sell these products. And that's where I met Clint. And I knew the first time I got grounded that it was for me, and that it was something that I needed to investigate. So I went home, read his book. Well, I went to the hotel room. My staff went to dinner. I said, I can't go. I got to read this. And so I read it. I was reading through his book, trying to figure out what was going on. And then, probably 2 years later, sold everything and my life changed. And so now I'm into grounding beautiful women, writing books. I'm just about to do the Mother Earth Effect movie, and it's going to have to do, this is my first segment of it, and it's going to have to do with women that are in the books that are telling their story. And yes,
And here is one of Olivia, her latest book.
yes.
So,
And so what I'm doing is we're doing kind of like episodes right now. And so different people that are in the book will be in the movies telling their stories and just letting women know how it can change your life. And did I ever think I'd be writing books, doing a movie, um,
That's
traveling all
exactly
over the
my,
world?
yeah,
No.
that's my question too, Olivia, because we go through so many different paths in our journey. And then I always like the little meme that says find joy in the journey. Like, right? The word journey has those letters, so you have to find them literally. But also I want to know like Tammy was asking, like, where was your interest? Because sometimes there's something that is so innate, or sometimes we don't even allow it to come out to the surface since we were children, since we were young, we have certain interests, but then life, or we think we need to go this direction. And look at you, you were burned out. And then you kind of like sold everything and started this new journey. And it sounds like you're very happy with it presently. So, is there anything that you can recall from your past, like from your childhood, growing up, that either you needed or you were longing for or you were interested in that then led you to this now?
Well, I remember when I was a little girl, there was a little girl that lived next door to me, and she had a hard time walking. And I remember going outside and kind of like doing physical therapy with her. Obviously, it wasn't because I didn't know anything about it, but I would walk with her and try to help her with her legs. Her name was Dee Dee, just precious young girl. And I would do that type of stuff. And and then when I owned my spa, the spa part, I started making my own scrubs for the pedicures and for the body scrubs. And I started where it all came from, I don't know. I just started buying different things and putting them together and making my own scrubs. And then I went
how
to
old were you when you did that?
that was when I had the wellness center. When I
Oh,
was
okay.
doing the other part, I was probably in fifth grade with the little girl. I was probably in
Right.
fifth grade. And then I went to this place out here called Cherry Hill. It's near Palm Springs. And I went to a retreat there. And they had this lavender water. And I realized when I took a bath, because I had like a little bruise on my arm, that when I used the lavender water in the tub, that it healed the bruise immediately. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to take this lavender and I'm going to bottle it and sell it in the spa. And so it had the spa's name. And so I started doing all of these different little things that were just happening and making a difference. And people liked it. It smelled good, but it also helped in so many different ways. And did I know what I was doing? No, I just did it.
Hey, you tried, right?
Yeah. And did I know when I was writing a book what I was doing? No. I got an editor and a ghostwriter and just started doing it. And I would had been told several times, "Oh, you're going to write a book." I was like, no, I don't think so. Not me." And so I'm on the third book now. And so I really just go along being guided.
Yeah.
And that is, and my heart is so peaceful, so full of love, and so full of joy. It's just unbelievable the peace and joy I have in this heart of mine.
That's so
And
awesome.
I'm so grateful for this life. And you know, now I was talking to you earlier, now I'm doing retreats. Now the
Hey, but I think that's the leading thing. It's like Lori and I are trying to do retreats as well, but it's because it's our way to help people one on one, correct?
Yes, exactly. And I had been invited to go help with the retreat. And I was like, well, okay, I don't know what I have to offer, but okay. And I've done all this spiritual training and my Huna training and all this stuff, this energy work. And so I went and I loved it. I loved it. I was a host with my friend Alice. And so then this year I'm going back again and I'm doing it again. I'm looking forward to it. And it's just been so rewarding. And I'm just now I want to open up a retreat center. And the retreat center has always been in my mind. That I've always wanted to do. And so I just was waiting for it to be the right time. And I feel like it's getting closer. And I'm a big manifester, you know.
Mhm.
I,
Well, like look at your quote, your mission statement to serve, right? And Lori and I both know this as well. When we serve, it's healing. We learn
oh,
so much and we get probably more out of that than the people we help, right? I've always felt that way whenever I've helped youth or whatever, but it's like something in my heart always wants me to serve or do something to help others, and that is the whole reason we have our show here is to inspire and to encourage and to share our hopes and dreams and have wonderful, amazing guests like you on here who serve and help others.
and I
But
think
it's
that,
like,
I'm sorry, I think that service comes from because when I was 4, I was adopted. And before I was adopted, I was abused.
Mm.
And it was major trauma, major trauma. And the interesting thing is that it taught me about compassion because the abuser, I always thought, and here I was, this little, I got adopted at 4, but at 3.5, I was still in that situation. And I always thought, I wonder what happened to him that makes him so mean and that he's doing these things. And this is a little child.
Yes.
And this was what was in my mind. And so then I got adopted into this beautiful family that just showered me with love. At that time, there was no like going to counseling. At that time, my parents didn't do any of that. I was raised in the Catholic Church, and but the love that I received from my mother and father and my siblings was just unbelievable. And I really believe that my compassion to serve, the service is from that experience. And would I take that away from me? No, because it made me who I
Yeah.
am today. And I'm so um, grateful that I was able to kind of look back at 3.5 and think, what happened to this man that's making him so horrible?
Yeah.
what
Oh, yeah.
happened to
Yeah,
Olivia, I'm sorry. I'm getting super excited here because I just feel your love. I just feel the fact that you are turning your pain into your purpose, your mess into your message, sort of speak. And I have so many questions because the way you have embraced or accepted or leaned or surrendered to, this is what happened. You cannot change that past, but then you need to write the final chapters of this book, right? Sort of speak. And you're doing it, literally writing books and living your dreams and purpose. How is it that you what can you tell? I have witnessed, Olivia. I have witnessed many people that cannot rise from those traumas. And you say you were showered with love and you were accepting and you accepted that love so that you can improve and rise from from those ashes or that adversity. So my question is, when people, and if you're watching, if you're watching out there, and you don't think you can rise from those traumas and be worthy of love, how can you tell people what is it that did it for you? How is it that you were able to decide to embrace that love? Some people, Olivia, are like porcupines. They don't want to be loved because they don't think they deserve love, and their sense of abandonment is perpetual, and also their sense of honestly think that love is a foreign language. And you know how people sometimes live in different countries and never learn the language? And
mhm.
there's other people that just determine and they make the choice to learn the language to be able to mingle and have a better experience in that foreign country. And then some people resist it and just somehow survive instead of thrive. What is it that helped you decide to receive, be open to receive, and make those changes for the better?
Well, when I was little, I was safe because before I was adopted, and I will say till about the age of 52, when I'd hear someone come in my room or somebody even walking by or wake me up from sleep, I would panic. And so um my parents, my mother just showered me with love. And also I was fed. I got food. And I didn't like have to hoard food because I knew the next day I was going to have food. And I had this nice little cozy room that slept in. And when the door would open, nobody hurt me. It was someone checking on me. And so, um, also I had this experience because my biological mother had been murdered in the home that I was in. And when I would take a bath, she was murdered in the bathtub. I was so afraid when I was getting my hair washed that something was going to happen to me. But then I realized, no, I'm safe. I'm in a very safe place.
So this was when after you were adopted?
Mhm. But
Okay.
No, no, but it
yeah,
was before she was
yeah,
adopted.
my
Nothing
biological
happened.
mother is the one that was murdered, and that's why I was put up for adoption. But my adopted mother, she gave me safety. She
So
gave,
that so yeah, when after you were adopted, you started feeling safe no matter those memories and those things.
Mhm. Yeah,
Which takes a while to get over, like you said, those
yeah,
little trigger things. And
there
I've
was,
been, they're not as bad as you, but yeah, it's the compassion that you get from others and but like you said, little triggers for a long time can trigger.
yeah. And what's so funny, I was with the minimalists at their podcast, and one of the guys was talking, and he talked about how his life had changed from something from his past, from abuse, and how things were different now. And at that moment, I was like, holy crap, I am not waking up in a panic anymore. Or if somebody wakes me up, because my kids would be like, Mom, why do you get so scared? And they knew my story. And I said, that doesn't happen to me anymore. And
Yeah.
that part took a while, but my parents, I can just say that the love and the acceptance and like they loved me like their very own child. They loved me exactly like they love their boys. And when they adopted me, they had just lost the third little boy. The cord
Oh.
was around his neck. And my dad said God works in mysterious ways, and that's why he brought you to us. And I always knew I was loved. And the um the mindset of myself was I used to think, well, I could go on Jerry Springer and be a nutcase, or I can start to really look within myself and start doing the healing. And I wanted children. I wanted children so badly. And I had my children and I gave them the love and my grandchildren the same love that I received from my mom and dad. And I'm going to say it was security, safety, love, um, and just that is what helped me to get through it. The abandonment issues like you were talking about that so many people feel, well, yes, they were there, but also I was abandoned and put into such a more beautiful environment that I could have ever dreamed of.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
And
and
So
you
you
know
were
what? You
grateful?
chose not
huh?
to be the victim.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a choice. That's a positive choice. Like, no, I'm not going to be the victim. I'm going to love like my family love, like my new family, my mom and dad are loving me. And when you pass that on, you look at the good things, at the good people that are doing good out there. It's because you do find that some of the most compassionate people have had in their
Your
past have had
past.
some of the hardest times, have gone through more than most people, but they chose not to be that victim, and they chose to follow those that guide them with love,
Hmm.
or
I want to
surround,
read
and
a
then they
comment.
yeah.
Erin says that she cannot watch the rest of the broadcast, but then for the moment she was in here, she said that my heart goes out to little Olivia. So grateful you were welcomed into such a loving and transformational family environment. And when she says little Olivia, I love that because she's alluding to that inner child we all know about or we've heard about. That inner child that needs so much love and pampering, not enabling, not rebelliousness, but forgiveness,
Hmm.
change, detachment from those memories. Like, while those memories are there, like you say, Olivia, like, hey, I'm not going to forget that this happened. But those feelings that are attached and heavy emotions that are attached to them that will leave us stagnant, that's what we need to let go of and use that as a point of reference. Like, hey, I don't want this to happen to anyone. And like you were longing for, like, I want so many children, children, so I can love on them. Like then your new experience was with your adoptive parents. And that is so important for us to understand, you out there watching this podcast, how beautiful it is for Olivia to have shared this with us. So we know that we are worthy of love. We need to be open to receive a new paradigm. We need to be able to change our paradigm, shifting those ideas that I'm not worthy. I am so mad that this was done to me. And then we decide to step forward into our greatness to become something else. Look at Olivia. She's knowing how to carry this through so that she can continue blessing lives and changing lives. So I love that, Olivia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I was on another podcast a few months back, and I haven't told this story much. It will be in the movie. I haven't talked about the story much, and I did talk about the abuse. And the host was so grateful that I was willing to go there because her people needed it for whatever reason they needed it. And so I feel that it's important to share and to, I mean, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm changing every single day. And the lessons will keep coming and the growth will keep coming. And I'm open to receive it to this day as I sit here. And I just, I am so, I really am so compassionate that that's why I say I can never change what happened to me because it made me this person I am today. And I hope that anyone that is listening, they can reach out to me on social media, they can talk to me. And I am just beyond grateful for this life because what would it be like for me to live as a martyr?
Mhm. Or
How
victim or martyr. Yes.
how
Yep.
fulfilling would that be? Not at all.
No,
And
no,
so this life I'm living, it's a pretty good life.
That's amazing. That and it's been by choice, right? By choice,
Yeah.
by well, that great opportunity and blessing that you had, that somebody took care of you, embraced you, and received you in their arms, in their
They did.
home, but also by choice, because there's so many people that are adopted, but they still have this thing within them of that nagging sensation and feeling and negative emotion or heavy emotion and intense emotion of like, why was I not cared for or
Mhm.
accepted? And then that's the thing, that's 50% of the equation, because then the other 50%, if we don't allow that negativity to control or take over, the other 50% is, look, somebody else did. Somebody else did. And when we allow that to flourish, to take over rather than giving more weight to that negative stuff, oh my goodness, it's a new story. It's a new story.
And I think too the guilt, because when a child is molested and not understanding why, you feel guilt, like you feel like you did something wrong and you deserve this. And to get rid of the guilt and realize, no, I didn't do anything wrong. But the guilt does stay with so many people. So the guilt can take over the body and cause anger and
So
stress.
tell me more about the guilt. Like, in what sense? Like, if you were the one that you were done wrong, like, where is this guilt
the
coming?
victim, because the abuser makes you feel guilty, like you deserved it. They tell
Oh,
you
like you
you
did
Yeah.
something
deserved it.
wrong.
You made them do it. You made them
Yeah.
beat you. You made them do
Got
this
it.
or that.
Yeah.
You
You
know, it's
you
all lies, but as a
caused it.
child, you
Yeah.
didn't understand.
Yeah.
So,
You caused it. And I was um like during the that type of abuse, I knew that I needed to go along with it because if I didn't, could be murdered. And it was that bad. But at other times when this human was in the house and he would try to get my brothers and I to do different things, like drink a bunch of milk all at once and just, I mean, mean things. Now, then I was a little rebel. I run off and and do things and try to get away. And my brothers would say, just do it because you're gonna get beat. But there was a time where I knew, like, I better do this because if I don't, this could be really bad. But this, I'm going to stand up for myself. But
true.
the guilt was there because you think, well, maybe I could have not let him, attack me and have sex with me and all of this, and but I couldn't.
It
It,
was a conflict, right? Between I
yeah,
fight for my life or I'm. So here's
dichotomy,
a
a
question.
dichotomy.
Yeah, I'm very proud of
There's
you.
a beautiful question from someone in our audience, Sandra. She's saying, beautiful spirit, Olivia, how do we trust again? How do we stop the rumination about the hurt and pain? Thank you in advance.
Well, the love.
Mhm.
You intuitively know when someone really loves you. We, as women, can feel when somebody loves you and is embracing you and will take care of you. And also, after that abuse, you can tell when another abuser, be it a man or a woman, is coming for you for a different reason. It's within us. And I have had the fortune, like I said, of not only my parents loving me like this, but my mom's sisters and brothers loving me the same way as my mom's child, and also my dad's um, family loving me and my grandparents loving me. But you can tell when somebody shows up that doesn't really love you. And it's for
Very
you,
true.
it's for you to feel that feeling and make that decision.
Oh,
Does that
you
include
know,
even the divine? Because if people don't trust and they don't feel loved by anyone around them, does that even mean like universe, God, they're divine, or you
No,
have to
I
at
am,
least trust someone or feel that love and openly receive that love from someone
yes.
around?
And I learned to receive that love from myself, from me. I needed to love me, and I needed to cherish myself. And when I started to love me, and it sounds so, people use that all the time. I need to love myself. Well, I did some really deep healing to get in here and love me and take care of this body and not to share it with anyone except for myself because it's my body, my choice, and to really respect myself and not go out looking for the love out there to find it here. The love and the that I receive from my parents is a different kind of love. And the love that I get from my children and my grandchildren, it's a different kind of love. And but to respect yourself and love yourself first. And if you're scared to, if it's a relationship you're in or whatever, take care of yourself. Don't go out there and run wild and think that, I mean, maybe some people like to do that, and that's fine. But I needed to take care of myself and to get really in touch with myself.
You know, what's funny is when you're talking, it brought up when we I did marriage mentorship, and it's like they always think it's two, and it's like if you can't get along, but you have to love yourself first, and that
Yes.
was one of the things we always stressed is if you're not right with yourself, it's not going to work because you're bringing in that relationship. And then the other thing is you've got to surround yourself with positive people. When you see somebody being, I mean, and you probably are like me. I see when people are being abused
Mhm.
and I pick up on it fast, and people don't a lot of times think about their words and their actions speak louder than they think. And they
Yeah.
affect every single person around us,
Mhm.
and it may not just be the person we're close to, but when you say something mean to somebody or kind, either way, it affects that person. So when they talk to the next person, it's like what do you call it? The telephone chain or chain of reaction effect. People don't realize that, you
I,
know.
I always say speak in prayer. Speak in
Yes.
prayer and speak to other people the way you want them to speak to you. But I always say stay in prayer. Um, and and I was married and it I wasn't getting along with myself. How could I get along with someone else, right?
Wow.
Because I was not getting along with myself. I had all these battles within myself. I had things that I needed to take care of, and I hadn't taken care of it. And so, how could I expect him to get along with me if I didn't know how to get along with me, right?
Totally. Erin is saying loving and honoring ourselves is so foundational for every other relationship and experience in our lives. I really like that answer, Olivia. It's so simple. It's very simple, yet it's a complicated process, maybe. Um, I think it's so important to value ourselves so much. It's interesting how the things that we don't like or that trigger us from others are things that we probably don't like in ourselves.
Mhm.
And like you're saying, like if you had marriage issues and situations, I love a movie where it's a Christian movie where when the women part of this relationship, the wife was struggling and being so resentful against her husband, this mentor shows up in her life, appears, a teacher appears, right? Sometimes when we need it. And she's like, you need to work with you. Forget about him. Forget about you thinking that he's the cause of all your problems and the cause of all your misery. You need to come to peace with yourself. You need to um and oh my goodness, the how the character continue evolving from he drives me crazy, he makes me mad, and making him responsible for her state of being. It was just when she evolved and she found herself and her individual worth and happiness, no matter what he was doing. So it is so true. And I have found that, like Tammy said, with me and my relationship with my husband. So,
But and I've seen it both ways. I've seen the young mom that was abused, and she'd have pick abuser after abuser that would beat her and her kids, and you'd help them get out of that situation, but they'd go back. But it was because even though she was beautiful, she had the self-doubt.
Yeah.
She didn't think she was worthy, and that's where she needs to work on herself. And that's why we offer our retreats, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
two, sometimes people are addicted to that.
Yes.
People,
Yes.
That's what I mean.
unfortunately, are addicted to being treated a certain way. And when they're not treated that way because they miss it, they go back and they get some more until they leave again.
They like
And
to play the victim
yeah,
constantly.
until we get right with ourselves, we'll stay there.
But it's also because it's familiar, is the only thing they know. And we're so afraid of the unknown that we're even afraid of something better. Because what I have seen also is people, I don't think, I don't agree with the comfort zone. I think of familiar zone. Because
Yeah.
that's comfort zone is uncomfortable. People say, "Oh, you're gonna take a picture of me. I'm a little bit, a few pounds over. Are you gonna take me a picture, and make me look slimmer?" And they joke. And they were comfortable, right? Eating and not working out and not doing those things they need to do to look better on a picture. But the thing is, it's not a comfort zone. It's not comfortable. It's a little bit of uncomfortable, especially at the time when a picture is going to be taken, right? I hope people understand what I'm trying to say, and with love and respect. It doesn't.
Hey,
It
I'm the
doesn't.
first one that complains to Lori. It's like, make sure my picture's good before you post anything.
But why
Yeah.
don't we? Why don't?
But that's because I know when I was even a size zero, that is, cameras can do a lot of things to a person.
Yes,
But I
absolutely.
understand what
Angles,
Lori's saying,
things like that.
we're not going to
Definitely.
always be comfortable around different situations,
Yes. But then if
but
we
we
want
have to
better
be ourselves.
results, yeah, we need to get out of this comfort zone, which is not comfortable at all, is very painful. And then for us to change and evolve and look good, right? Sort of speak in the picture. I mean, if everybody got my joke or my example or my metaphor, you have to work and it's gonna be painful. And like it says, like no pain, no gain. And then when you go to a grocery store or even a hotel, and they're growing and then they're changing and they're reconstructing, they say pardon our progress. It's going to look
Yeah.
ugly, it's going to be painful to reflect and think and accept certain things, but at the same time to change and evolve for the long-term improvement and betterness.
And it does. It's a process, and then you're so proud of, like, I'm so proud of myself because like I said, when people are in a marriage, it's not just one-sided. And I participated. And so now I've come to a point where I have awareness of what I'm doing and I can catch myself. I
And
have
take
awareness.
ownership.
Yes. And it's so important to take ownership and to, like I said, speak in prayer. Speak in prayer. Just be kind and be loving
Treat others the way you would like to be treated, right?
and it can love is huge. Peacefulness is huge.
It is.
And
Now,
when the
did your
other
parents
person,
put you in counseling when they adopted you?
No. They no, they didn't. It wasn't something they did,
Okay.
and so no. And when I would talk, I remember talking to my mom, like my mom that adopted me, this happened, this happened. She goes, well, let's just never talk about it again. And my mom loved to act like I came from her womb. And so that was the whole thing. And so what happened was, like I said, the love, and I grew up in a very nice family that was just loving and kind. And I, as I grew, I knew within myself I needed to deal with all of the stuff. I studied NLP, and that was a big game changer for me. And then I started studying HUNA, and that was huge. And
Now,
so
Hoon is a term I haven't heard as much. Can you explain to our audience again what
it's
that is?
it's a Hawaiian lineage. It's kind of like shaman type training, and I go 2 weeks in September every year for my training and my learning. and my shifting. And it's made me just, and when I went into NLP, I decided it like this. It was time. Somebody introduced it to me, and I was like, oh, I need this. And that was a big shift because that's where I found what was going on in here really was a mess.
Yes.
Even though I had thought, oh my God, I have things figured out when I owned my wellness center, I thought I had things figured out. Oh no, I didn't. And then NLP really did a big shift for me. And then the HUNA is energy work. It's more to do with energy work. And I am just so grateful that I have been walking on this path and haven't had resistance to it and haven't had resistance to knowing that I need to be better and do better.
Mm. Olivia, I just love this. Now fast forward into your wellness center versus now the holistic aspect to it, and then you sold everything. I have a very honest question, and help me understand and be more compassionate or understand this aspect. How did you do you find the and it's very important, the makeup, the spa, right? Aspect of life and self-pampering. How do you what difference do you find with that aspect of self-care with the deeper or the new work that you're doing now that is more inner work in
Um,
yourself, in the women that you have witnessed, and offered these services to?
I feel that everyone has their own way of being. And it's funny because when Clint met me, he goes, I didn't understand you. He says, because I could see this big aura around you, but yet you were prancing around with this heels on and this little black dress and had all your makeup on. He goes, I didn't understand you. And I didn't understand myself at the time either. And so now, doing the work and going to Huna and doing the retreats, I love since I was a little girl to put my mom's Aquanet hairspray on my hair and to put her makeup on. I've always loved it.
It
And it,
definitely has a place.
yeah, and I just, that's who I am and I love it. And then, so then going into doing all this work and doing all the things that I did inside, I realized this didn't make me beautiful. This made me beautiful.
It's a full package deal, right?
Yeah. And but I could still do this. But what was beautiful was in here because finally I was in love with little Olivia and I was
Mhm.
able to accept her for everything that had happened and know that it wasn't her fault and there was no guilt to be had, and to remember all the lessons I learned and how I could move forward and be who I am today.
Beautiful.
I love it. You know, it's like I actually love wearing a little bit of makeup because it just makes me feel more awake, you know, and I'm kind of like you, Livia. It's like I could be hiking or, you know, cleaning out the chicken coop or whatever one day that morning, and the next minute I could be dressed in heels down meeting with somebody. It all just depends on where I'm at. But I do know that when I was doing makeup, I'd go on the weekends and work with Merrill Norman or Macy's, and I do makeup on clients. They would feel so much better because I was just wanted to enhance their beauty, you
Hmm.
know, teach them how to use moisturizers and what, like you said, what they use, you know, it's a little different. But what one thing that stood out was it's like this one lady came in and we did was mascara and
Hmm.
lip gloss. And her husband told her she looked like a whore. And she was trying to build her work on herself, in herself. And she was such this beautiful person, you know. And you're trying to, and so it can be frustrating. I believe they ended up winning a divorce after that because she was looking, she needed to surround herself with more positive people that liked her and loved her for who her was. And if she just wanted to enhance herself a little bit, who was he to judge, Uh, and so it's like you're authentic no matter if you wear makeup or not, and like you said, the beauty comes from within, which we can see your beauty. It radiates.
And your peace, I can feel your peace too, your fulfillment and joy. And I love this. Some people are saying that we disappeared from their life. I hope not. Maybe they need to restart their phone, but I just love this conversation, Olivia. I can't wait to see what else is coming.
So
Your
we want to hear now your stories of what
Yeah,
you're doing, I guess.
yeah,
So
what's
you've
your
been,
Well, so I'm working on the retreat. Um, but this is something that I feel within me. If I were to leave this earth tomorrow, I feel fulfilled. I feel I've done my part and I feel fulfilled.
you can't
beautiful.
yet. You know why?
No,
I
I'm
want a
not.
hug
I'm
from
not.
you.
But I
I'm
totally
not.
get it.
We
I
have to do
totally get
something together.
Yeah, and like I was talking, I'm doing the retreat in North Carolina, and I have some really exciting things happening there. And then I'm looking into get one going in California and to look for a space. And every time I do this work and I'm working with other women, I get more healing.
Yes.
It's they give me healing, I give them healing, and my heart just grows bigger and my peace is just bigger. And I do get really hungry when I do healing work, though. That's one thing that happens to me. But you know, I am so grateful for women and that women that want to move forward and that want to make a change and if they're not there yet, please start working on it because it is so much better than staying in that low vibration. It's
Yes.
so much better to get up here in this higher vibration that can change everything around you, can change how your children are feeling, how your spouse is feeling, but most of all, how you're feeling.
So what's one
Yes.
thing that you would recommend to our audience to help them get started if they have not?
I would say go outside, put your bare feet on the earth, make sure those shoes are off, and lose your mind and find your soul.
Yes.
Because when I first started grounding, I had a hard time putting my bare feet on the earth because it was a trigger from when I was a little child. And when I started doing it, I was like, oh, this feels so good. And Mother Earth changed my life. It's one of the modalities that changed my life.
Remember the earth is a huge battery. We need to recharge with it. Olivia, we love it. We love you. We feel your spirit and your soul, beautiful soul. Another thing I really would like as we conclude is for you to give some words of encouragement to people that are on the fence, to start this journey of self-discovery, of self-healing. You are offering amazing retreats. We have someone here that is going to partake of yours or participate. And Tammy and I are offering retreats too. Why is this so important? Why is it important for people to stop and smell the roses, so to speak, and give themselves this opportunity and invest in themselves? What can you say to encourage others that are just not even considering it for them to allow themselves to have this spark, lighten up their desire to go ahead and do it?
Well, one thing is you build community, and it's with like-minded women. And so the women that came last year, we have uh, um, a group that stay in contact, and they've stayed in contact throughout this whole year. And so many of them that came last year are coming this year because they loved it so much and they had the transformation. And but building community and learning from other women and hearing other women's stories. Because when another woman tells a story, that may be your story. And she was brave enough to make a change, and you haven't yet. But hearing her story, you might decide to. But you've got to get there. You've got to decide to make a difference for yourself and invest in yourself. We invest in so many different things, but investing when I first started out on this journey with Clint, I went to different retreats, and the one that really got me going was Deepak Chopra, and it was an all women's retreat, and I started meditating. It was life changing, and then I kept going to different ones that I felt could help me, and I realized they were helping me, but I had to help myself. And that anything I learned there, I needed to take it home with me and actually do it. Not just go have fun and meet all these girls and do all this stuff. I needed to take it home with me and do the work.
Oh my goodness, totally true. Implement, live it, take action. That's why my framework of my coaching practice is begin, believe, become. You need to begin doing, believe that you can do more, be more, be, uh, begin doing those things, and so you can become. And then with Tammy and I, is just discover, experience, and transform. Basically, the same
Which is
idea, right?
basically what you do is like you said, you're discovering something, learning something every day, and then
Do
you
this change and
experience it so
transform.
that you can do it. You have got to do what you say, and then that your transformation, right?
Yeah.
To
And
help
you do.
others.
You transform, and it's just such a beautiful community of women getting together and singing and dancing and doing some yoga and meditating and different types of deep work where we get to the root of what's going on and that you can leave with some tools.
Yeah, Erin is saying that you have to be an open, active participant to really see impactful change in your life and yourself. I remember in the first interview, you said with these retreats, it can get chaotic because people have so much built up, and then all these things start coming out. So we as facilitators need to be prepared for all that. And we're a safe container to catch all that and receive it ourselves. But at the same time, yes, when you participate, you need to go willing and with an open mind and heart, right, to receive all this new information so that then you can take that action to change. Well, Olivia, time goes
I
by so fast when we're having fun, and time is running out. We want to honor your time, but I am very grateful you're here.
So, and I love that you provide a safe place for these women. And that's what retreat should be, a safe place. So if you're afraid to speak up or not, you feel in a safe place, you feel that you're not being judged. And Olivia, she knows that people have gone through stuff because you've gone through stuff yourself. So you know how to create that space because of that.
Yes, and also the women that have attended before and they come back, they know how to hold space. And a lot of them have the energy. So in the retreats, I know how to line people up because I work with energy where one's here, one's here, one's here. That can hold the energy for the room. And that's very important. And it just really works out well and helps to really balance everything.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, here you have it. You've enjoyed this amazing conversation and interview with Olivia Smith, contributor of the Mother and author of the Mother Earth Effect, and now soon to be a movie. Um, we want to encourage you to take action, to listen to this. As you listen to this episode, take note, even pause the video in some parts that move some strings of your heart and that help you say, I need to do this. I need to figure out how to do the same. If Olivia was able to survive or even thrive now from the place where she was to now um, flourish and live a life with purpose and helping others, paying it forward because she's worked hard to get where she's at right now. So that and I agree. My journey, if you read my book, Tammy's journey, when you read her book, it's the same in a way. We deliver our messages in different ways, but if we're able to rise, you are too. And that's our message, Tammy's, mine, Olivia's. And we want to encourage this will be a better place, better earth here on here, that this life that we are living will be better. And as we become light, we're gonna illuminate somebody else's life so that they can be, like, imagine a match, the effect of a match, lighting up other matches and candles. So we want to encourage you to take action, and whatever moved you today, do it. Do it, let it happen, receive it. And these are my final words. Share, like Tammy says all the time.
Have anything else,
Tammy and Olivia.
Olivia, you'd like to say?
I'm sending love to all of you and thank you all for coming here and listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here. And I'm just really grateful to have been on your podcast, ladies. Thank you.
Well, it's our honor. And I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching today. Of course, thanks to Olivia. Be sure, if you have not, check out one of her. She has 2 books out, and I actually have a chapter in this one. So which was an honor as well. So, but be sure to check out Olivia's retreat. And she actually is the champion of freedom on one of our pages. We have a whole full write-up on her, and we add links there all the time. So for the earthing products, for grounding products. Check it out. So
We also want to say thank you for contributing so much and sponsoring us and during our anniversary, Olivia. Your generosity is just amazing. Thank you so much. Many people are going to enjoy those products.
Thank you.
So thanks everyone, and hope you have a wonderful week. And like Olivia said, go outside, take those shoes off, let your mind lose control, and just enjoy the beauty out there. Bye. Have a great week.